Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another video of Salesforce Makes Sense. In this video, we'll continue our Apex journey and we'll understand a bit about governor limits, right? So now what are governor limits? As we understand, Salesforce is a multi-tenant architecture-based framework, right? It's a platform offering that allows different customers to use certain services and certain resources. Now, if let's go back to our core example of an apartment or a building, right? When you are a tenant, right? So if you are a tenant and you have to use the water services, let's say, right? So there's a limited amount of water that is available and that's distributed and used equally and evenly by different flats, right? There might be some high and lows based on the category or based on the size of the house or based on the number of people, but you understand that the resources, the amount of water is fixed and you have to refill your tank or you'll have to refuel it up if you want to reuse it, right? So similar to that, you always have a governor limit, or rather an upper limit to things that you do in Salesforce. You do not get to do things any and every way. It's not like all the resources are available for you, everything is for you, and you can just go ahead and exploit the resources. Because it is a multi-tenant architecture, it is on the cloud, you will always have a constraint of having a threshold limit on the top. For whatever you do in Salesforce, it could be anything, there is an upper limit, right? So what does that mean? That basically means that you have to ensure that any processes, any automation, any code that you write or you review or you work on has to ensure that it does not break any kind of governor limits that Salesforce has set. For example, if you want to send out an email, your single transaction cannot have more than 10 send email calls, right? So that's the upper limit, like that's coming from the platform, that if you're going to use this feature, try to ensure that you are within this limit, as simple as that, right? And also understand that, remember we did the discussion around instance and pod and data centers, right? And that data center is basically used by different customers. And when that is used by different customers, the database, the core database and all the infrastructure services are common for everyone, which is why you get this governor limit, and that is basically shared by all the customers who are in that instance, right? So you might not be the only customer or you might not be the only business who is in that particular instance, but there could be 1,000 other customers. So all of you together are sharing the resources and ensuring that you're not hitting any kind of upper limits. And whenever you hit upper limits, you get an error from Salesforce. That's the idea. Okay, so moving on to some of the very important upper limits or governor limits in Salesforce that we should be cautious as Apex or Salesforce developers. Okay, I've just covered 3 things here and we have the documentation available. We'll take a look at it. But you have DML statements, you have SOSL and you have SOQL. Okay, so normally what we do in our Apex calls, we normally write a lot of SOQL queries. We get and retrieve a lot of data from the database, right? So we write a lot of SOQL queries. Now for a single synchronous transaction, meaning one end-to-end transaction, you can only have at max 100 SOQL queries. Okay, so if you were to write a script wherein you had 101 SOQL queries, you would get a SOQL exception, and that would basically be a limit exceeded exception. All right, so that's basically the number of SOQL. What is a SOQL query? It's basically select ID comma, basically this query right here, select ID comma name from account where name like test, whatever, or let's say name like sense, right? If I query this, what happens? It basically says that one query has been used. This is one query. Alright, if you write this query 101 times in a single transaction, or if you use similar queries, or if you use any kind of query but you use more than 100 queries, you get this SOQL exception. Alright, now if you notice, this particular query returned how many rows? 2 rows. But what if you have a lot of data in your system? You have more than 50,000 records. So if this query is expected to return more than 50,000 records, in that case it will throw a SOQL query record retrieved related exception. That's another limit exceeded exception, wherein you are trying to retrieve more than 50,000 records in a single SOQL query. Now this is for single SOQL query, not for your entire collection, entire SOQL query. See, you can do 100 queries and each query can only retrieve maximum 50,000 records. If it is more than that, it will throw an error. Okay, similar to your SOQL queries, you have SOQL queries, right? SOQL is your search language query, the one that you just you have visited and read and understood in my previous chapters. So the number of SOQL queries are limited because search is a costly operation, because it takes a look at the entire database. So there are only 20 SOQL queries that you can have. All right, and what is the number of records retrieved by a SOQL query? It is only 2000. So always be wary and cautious of that 2000 limit here. So if you are doing a SOQL, if you want to do a search and you have, let's say, 2 million records in your database and you are doing a search, your records retrieved should not be more than 2000. Okay. And then finally, the number of DML statements. What are DML statements? It is basically our insert, update, delete, database.insert, database.update, database.delete, right? So these statements, you can only have at max 150 DML statements. All right. So these are your core limits that you should actually know, and they are asked in any and every interview questions, the SOQL and the DML ones, because that's your day-to-day life, right? DML and writing SOQL queries. But if you want to take a look at the entire documentation, and if you want to take a look at more, let's say, more governor limits, and when would you do that? When you're actually writing code and we're actually working on an issue where you're facing a governor limit, right? So in that case, this document will come in handy. It's more like a cheat sheet. See, if it is mentioned here, it is a cheat sheet, right? So you can get all the limits. So you have synchronous limits and you have asynchronous limits. So you can ignore the asynchronous for now, but you see, this is your primary synchronous limit, whatever you do in your day-to-day, right? If it is not an async call, this is your limit. So if you see 100 queries, 50,000 rows, 20 SOQL, 2000 SOQL query, 150 DML is what I told you, right? But lot of basically any and everything. See, send email, only 10 methods can be called. If you want to send an email and you want to use the send email method, all right? Heap size, CPU time, lot of limits are there. See, everything that comes with Salesforce comes with a limitation because you are on the cloud platform, right? And on a multi-tenant architecture. So this is a good document to always keep, bookmarked, and whenever you are working on anything, you can always take a look at these limits. Okay, so then you have limits around, let's say, the lightning platform. You have limits around static apex, you have limits around timeouts, you have limit around the heap size, the number of characters you can have in a class, number of characters you can have in a trigger, number of lines of code you can write, and all of that stuff. Okay, so this is a very good document that basically covers all your limits, right? So if tomorrow you are facing any kind of issue, you can always come back to this document and see, okay, how much is the limit and how much am I using, right? And based on that, you have to optimize your code. Okay, and the only reason this is done by Salesforce is because so that you do not monopolize your resources, because the resources are shared. It's not just for you, right? It's for everyone. So it should be equally accessible to everyone, and everyone should get a piece of it. That's the core idea. All right. So that was about governor limits. And what I want you to do is, if in case you want to attempt a quiz, right? If you want to attempt a very small quiz on governor limits, I have something prepped up. You can just comment below quiz, and I'll probably share a link to you on personally. Okay, you can just comment quiz, and you'll basically be given a link to try or attempt a governor limit quiz. But before that, just come prepared and just see what are your primary, governor limits, and just take a look at these numbers and then attempt the quiz. No problem. All right. So I think that was all about governor limits. The only thing I would like to tell you is that you might be thinking, Himanshu, how and when will I reach 100 SOQL queries or 150 DML statements, right? That would be a very big code. So ideally, no. The reason of this being discussed is because we have for loops in our framework, right? We can iterate over things, and when we iterate over anything, and inside that iterator, if we write a loop or if we write a DML statement, every iteration counts as a DML statement, or every iteration counts against that exception, right? So that limit gets increased every time you run that loop. So let's say you are creating 10 accounts, right? And if I quickly show you a sample stub, this is a very basic stub I'll show you, but you'll get the idea of what I'm trying to say. So if you were to do something like, for integer I is equal to 0, I less than 150, I plus plus, account acc equals new account, acc.name is equal to test plus I, right? And I say insert acc. Now if you notice, what am I trying to do here? I'm basically trying to create 150 accounts for my system, That's fine, but I am writing this insert command inside the for loop, correct? So this for loop is going to run 150 times. From 0 to 150 it is going to run 150 times, and if it runs 150 times or 151 times, whatever it is going to call this insert method or insert command 150 times, and as soon as it crosses that 150 limit, it will throw an error and everything will be rolled back, right? Which is why we go to the collection framework, which is why you do things like account list dot add ACC, and you come outside the loop, and then you do one insert command that contains all your 150 records, and you do one insert. See, in this case you only consumed one DML statement, you did not consume multiple, which is why it is forbidden and it is frowned upon to write DML statements and SOQL queries inside loop. This is why everyone says this. If you were not familiar, that's the reason, the governor limit. Okay, if I were to do something like this, and let's say, let's give it a try and let's try to execute it and let's see what happens. I'll just say execute. It's taking some time, and if you see, it throws you a limit exception. So all of these issues with governor limits will always come as a limit exception, and it says too many DML statements 151, right? So this code ran 151 times from 0 to 150, right? So 151 times, and that's where our 150 DML statements issue happened. This is the number of DML statements we get in one transaction, but we hit 151. So on 151th transaction, it went ahead and failed. So what did it do? Did it insert all the other records? No, it rolled back the entire transaction because the transaction failed. All right. So that's the idea. That's basically why you have governor limits. Alright, so take a look at this documentation. I'll paste it on the comment box also, or you can simply type Salesforce governor limits cheat sheet. You should see it on the first option. And if you want to attempt a quiz, just drop a comment quiz and I'll probably share something with you on the comment and you can attempt a quiz. Alright, so that was all about governor limits. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.